recently Cassidy performed at the Ruff Ryders show.
Shout out to Cass. I was at that Ruff Ryders show. Dope show.
Yeah, I wish I was there. I wasn't in town at the time, or else I would have gone too. Where he called out Lil Uzi Vert and Yachty.
Who the best MC? Me, J. Cole, or Kendrick? I miss the days when Jay took over the business. I witnessed Hova change the world. I'm a Jehovah Witness. I never chose to listen to Yachty and Lil Uzi. Let's take it back to Jeezy, Weezy, and Lil Boosie.
I came in like right after he did that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
People went crazy when he did it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about these new generation of rappers? Like a Yachty, a Lil Uzi Vert. What is being classified as mumble rap?
I think it's entertainment. I think they should be classified as entertainers. I think at some point they just started putting everything in a rap category. I don't think what they do can really be classified as rap. You know, I think in regards to Cassidy, when you compare what Cassidy does, to what Little Uzi Vert and Yachty do, there's not really the same. There's not much similarities. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that's where the backlash comes. I think that's where people are frustrated. I just think that they try to put everything into the genre of rap and hip hop now, and I think it has to be a separate genre. It has to be a separate genre to where it doesn't offend people. Or it doesn't make people feel like, no, that's not hip hop, it's not this and that. Because it's really not. It's not the essence. It's good music though. Like I dance to Uzi Vert songs. I like when I hear it, like Yachty song, I'd be like, you bounce to it and all, but it's just not what Cassidy does. And it's not what I do. It's a different genre of music. And it has to be defined in that genre for it to get the proper respect rather than people calling it mumble rap.
Right, I mean, that's pretty much what Cassidy said.
You need to call that shit mumble rap. Like, oh, he's the best mumble rapper. All right, cool, that's great. But don't say he the best rapper or he one of the nicest rappers when he could barely rap. Like, he not even rhyming words all the way. He not even piecing up no syllables. There's no figurative language. There's no creativity. But how is he gonna be one of the best just because he got a little melody? Facts, and then it'll be good. Like, you go to mumble rap to dance and not hear no lyrics. You ain't expecting to hear no lyrics. You just trying to dance to a wavy trap double time beat, and you like, all right, cool. That's what you expecting, you know what I'm saying? But don't put it in the same category with a nigga that get busy like me. Like, that ain't fair.
But I don't think that they consider themselves rappers in the same way that they consider, Kendrick a rapper and so forth.
But that's what I'm trying to say. The thing is, they'll put them in a category for Rap Artist of the Year with Kendrick. You understand what I'm saying? They'll have a Little Uzi Vert. This is a different genre of music. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to figure out a way that they don't take up space in certain genres and people who do certain things and just give them their own lane, their own thing to where they can excel and be recognized in that regard. And people have, I just think that they just try to cluster everything into hip hop and rap now.
Well, back in the day, at one point you had gangster rap.
Yeah, it was called gangster rap.
It was called gangster rap. It still is called gangster rap.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess it's called trap maybe.
Yeah,
people like to call it trap music, which to me is just gangster rap.
Yeah, it's more geared towards
the South.
The South and drugs. Gangster rap was more, we shooting you up.
No, not really. I mean, a lot of crack got sold in NWA songs.
They shot more people than they sold crack in NWA songs.
Yeah, a lot of people get shot in trap music.
Not really.
Gucci has shot a whole lot of people in his songs.
Not a lot. He said most of them is talking about drugs. Trap music is the trap, is where the drug house. So it's most of it is 90% of it, 95% of it is geared toward drugs.
Usually when you're selling drugs, hard drugs, there's usually some shootings that go along with it.
But
Okay,
they focus on
these two things are closely related.
They are, but I'm just trying to tell you, trap music focuses more on the distribution and selling of drugs.
Okay, we can agree to disagree on this one. I'm fine with that.
Yes, sir.
But I remember at one point there was, and this was like the mid 90s, there was a definite kind of movement denouncing gangster rap. Early 90s, mid 90s, it was like, it was considered whack if you're talking about shooting people. You know what I mean? And I remember at the time I was in the Bay Area and like Souls of Mischief were like popping and like the super lyrical type, you know, putting big words together and so forth. And, you know, people really weren't wearing like gold chains. It'd be like, you know, more like African medallions. And you know, it was like real hip hop, you know, what they considered real hip hop was considered the hot shit. And like these gangster rappers like Spice One were considered like whack at the time. Not by me, but by sort of like a group of people that were becoming the dominant form of music. You see what I'm saying? So you always had this type of thing. You've always had people feel like their type of hip hop is better than someone else's type of hip hop, and this other type of hip hop was whack.
But the problem is the difference. Not really the problem. The difference in that was the form of music was the same, but the subject matter was different. You understand what I'm saying? So even with
not always. No. But because here's what I'm saying. Like the super lyrical guys were the ones that are putting big words together. They're rapping different.
They were rapping though.
They're rapping different. They multi-syllables, you know, like that type of thing. You know, freestyle. Like it was considered whack if you couldn't freestyle at one point.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I get it.
Like I forgot who it was. I think it was
But you sit there and look at NWA, you know, like they were lyrical though.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? They were still gangster rappers, but they were lyrical gangster rappers.
Yeah.
So,
but NWA was a bit of an anomaly in that genre. You see what I'm saying? They were like the kings of that. But there were a lot of other rappers that would, you know, cat, hat, rap.
But
you know what I mean?
But it's always been frowned upon when you were doing something that didn't require any level of skill.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So if you were just walking in the cypher with people rapping and you was like cat, hat, trap, you really wasn't rapping. So nobody respected you.
Right.
You weren't doing anything that anybody else can do.
But at that moment, I remember because I was living in the Bay Area, which was like mob music was sort of dominating and so forth. And a lot of artists were just basically, a lot of guys were drug dealers who started rapping. And, you know, they weren't trying to freestyle. They'd come in and put the shit together, and it sounded fly on the beat. And it was real because they really were talking about shit that they actually did, and it all came together. Like, Too Short was never the most lyrical guy,
No, but
right? But he was very good at what he did.
Yeah.
You know, the sex rhymes, the pimp rhymes. It was like, you know.
But it was a skill. What he was doing was
100%. But a lot of people considered him whack at that time because he wasn't, you know, the soliloquy of the telequy and the subatomic particles. Like, you know, he wasn't doing all that shit. In fact, I remember he had a song, I think called Pay Styles. Where he was like, freestyles, like we don't rap for free.
Yeah.
I'm Pay Styles. I get paid to rap. And a lot of people consider that, wow, that ain't hip hop. You can't even freestyle. You making fun of freestyling. You see what I'm saying?
No, I get
There's
it.
always been that push-pull.
It's always going to be that. But I think the difference in this case is every element, because what a lot of these artists doing now is they pretty much just harmonizing. And a lot of the words don't even rhyme a lot of times. They just think of a simple word or two words that a 2 or 3 year old can memorize. So I think they've taken even the creativity out of it. And there's nothing wrong because it sounds good. You know what I'm saying? Now we just listening to the sound. If it sounds good, you don't have to know what somebody's saying. You don't have to know what it means or anything. You just bop in your head and it's your song.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's bad to the bone.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know half the songs, but I hear them and I go like this. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what the difference is. And I think when somebody who is creative and comes up and sits down and be creative and has a level of skill that is phenomenal, like when you compare that to what Kendrick does, I think it's kind of like insult. I think, you understand what I'm saying? When you sit there and Kendrick's saying, damn, you know what it takes for me to shit. Like you listen to some shit Kendrick's saying, like, what was he thinking? Like, how did his brain get there to say some shit like that? And then you listen to some of these people rhyme and you're like, oh, I could do that. And that's why we have over amount of people who think they can do it, because people have simplified it to the point where a 2 and a 3-year-old can do most of the stuff that is out now.
I mean, you could technically say that about rap in general, though, right? Because before rap came around, you had to know how to sing in order to make a song, right?
But it's a different skill.
You had to know how to sing in order to make a song. Rap came around, you did not have to know how to sing to make a song. So right then and there, a lot of music purists said, this is trash. This is not real music. On the production side, you had to be a trained musician in order to create the music of the song. You had to be a composer, or you had to play an instrument and have a composer. You had to know how to read notes and so forth and put that together. Rap came around and people said, hey, I could sample this hit record, press this loop button, and I am now a music producer. And, you know, the first hit song in hip hop, even though it was replayed, it was technically a sample. It was, Good Times with the Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight. You see what I'm saying? Like, there was no composer really behind that record. They just said, hey, this was a huge song in the 70s. We're going to essentially loop it. So all these people that were used to a certain type of thing looked at hip hop and said, these guys can't make music and these guys can't sing. This is all trash. Which is kind of what you're saying about the Lil Uzi Verts. No?
I never said they were trash. I just said it's a different form of music.
Right.
That's the difference. They looked at it and said it wasn't even music. I wouldn't even make sense to say it's not music, because it gives you a feeling. People enjoy hearing it.
Yeah.
They just know that it's way different than this. You understand what I'm saying? They know that when you listen to a Cassidy song and you listen to Uzi Vert, you have to be in a different mind state. You can't compare both of them. Like, I got a very good situation for you to compare it to. When Don Q and A Boogie came out, right? A Boogie came out first. He got a lot of buzz, because he's very melodic.
Yeah.
Very melodic rapper.
And there's also lyrics.
No,
in those melodies.
He's a dope artist. Not taking anything from him, but he was very melodic and he was lyrical. It was a different style. Don Q is a rapper's rapper. He raps like.
Yeah, he don't try to sing.
In the conventional form of rap.
Right.
So me hearing both of them, I was able to be like, oh, he's dope. Oh, he's dope. Like that. It's just two different dopes. But when they first put out their first mixtape, I was getting backlash from everybody talking like, yo, Don Q is trash. And I'm like, what? Don is nice. Like I was reaching, like, I remember I went to a school and they was like, yo, A Boogie need to get rid of Don Q, he's trash. And I'm like, what are y'all listening to where y'all saying Don is trash? It's no way that you're saying Don is trash. And I remember going through this verbatim, but what they were doing was the fans that wanted to hear the melodic thing were thrown off when they heard somebody else that was just rapping. It was two different forms of rap and two different forms of music. You understand what I'm saying? So what happened is people who wanted to hear one thing didn't want to hear that until they got trained and start realizing, he's actually a dope artist. So that's what happens with the genres. It's like, it's not that, you know, they just do something different, you know. And some people might say, yo, I think A Boogie is trash because I don't want to hear that. I want to hear somebody rap. So it's just different. It's different. It's what you want to hear, but it's two different. They still rapping. It's just different for genres of the same thing.